Okay.
Hello, friends.
Hi.
It's Shanika and Caitlin with Get Checkered. Get Checkered is part of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown and community supported. And if you're watching us on YouTube,
You'll see we're actually together.
In person. You'll also quickly realize that Caitlin has completely sort of lost her voice.
Which is a great thing for people who try and run podcasts, right?
Yeah, it's a great thing.
But that's a segue into what we're getting up to. Because Shanika and I have literally just been on like a 4-day bender.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned last week, but I came to Vancouver for a little visit with Caitlin. And yeah, it's basically we're living out our like 18-year-old selves right now.
Yeah. So I'll come back.
But Caitlin's right, it has been a 4-day bender.
So on like day 2, I lost my voice.
Yeah.
But really fun bars here in Vancouver. Turns out. And it was nice. We got to like hang out with different streams of my master's program. So yeah, lots of fun meeting up with people in high performance buildings, doing great stuff over there. And yeah, and then we had a beach day on July 1st. Spent it with all my clean energy people. So that was a lot of fun. And then what did we do yesterday? We were going to go to a lake.
We had to sleep. Okay, folks.
We weren't feeling that.
I think I mentioned I have an Aura ring now, but it tracks my sleep. And since I've been here, Caitlin and I have been going to bed at, the first night was like 1:30. Last night we went to bed at 4. So when we had the option to go to a lake, we realized, no, we just really need to sleep.
Yep. So we did shopping instead.
Yep.
And got our hair
and got our hair done.
Got our hair done too. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Shanika got in Wednesday, and yeah, just honestly haven't stopped.
Yeah, but we need to stop. So today we'll take it easy. Tomorrow I fly back home. So we'll be in a better spot because then Caitlin is flying into town for Stampede.
Flying in Friday. Yep. And Shanika has invited us to an event. Literally, we fly in and then go to our first Stampede, and then it just doesn't stop from there.
Exactly. So for the next 2 days, Caitlin's gonna have to rest her freaking voice and just in general go to sleep. And I'm gonna do the same in Calgary because Stampede is just another beast.
Yep, but it's crazy that it's Stampede time already.
Yeah, it's this year's flown by.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That's our update.
Yeah, so if you're curious about the energy levels, it's just because we're tired. Okay, we're very, very tired.
Yeah. It was like, it's a good day to be quiet though here in Vancouver. It was raining a lot.
Yeah.
It was just overcast, so it's fine.
Exactly. So
we actually didn't watch this race live either.
No.
Considering the fact we got home and sleeping by 4, race starts at 6 or 7, so we slept in and we watched it afterwards. We did not look at anything social media.
No.
Because there was a lot that happened. So
yeah,
people remember this race, Silverstone.
I know, we'll remember this race for one really good reason, which we'll of course dive into later.
Yes.
But we're gonna start with Caitlin does some digging on some track facts because we didn't do this last time for the episode that we did, right?
Exactly. So we have to do it at least once. So back in the UK, right?
Woo-hoo!
And where is it in the UK? So circuit's near the town of Silverstone. It's called Silverstone. And the circuit straddles the county border of North Hamptonshire and Buckinghamshire. Which is
okay.
Space. It looks like it's kind of in the middle of England, maybe south the middle. I don't know. It's northwest of London though. Fun fact from Wikipedia, Silverstone Circuit is actually on the site of a Royal Air Force bomber station, the RAF Silverstone, That was operational 1943 to 1946.
Oh shit.
Yep, and the airfield's 3 runways, which was, I guess, a very typical World War II triangle format for air bases, actually lies within the outline of the current track.
Oh.
And we'll get into it more about like how it started there. Don't worry, but a little bit more about England, this region of Northamptonshire, Oxfordshire, and South Midlands is described as "quote unquote" motorsport valley. So it's like a global hub for motorsport industry. You know, lots of the teams right now call the UK their home base. So Aston Martin actually calls Silverstone home, Mercedes calls Brackley home, Red Bull and Milton Keyes, McLaren and Woking, etc., etc. You get the idea. So the circuit itself is the home of a British motor racing. It held the first time the British GP was held there was in 1948. And actually, fun fact how it even started at Silverstone. Again, from Wikipedia, it was first used by a group of friends who did an impromptu race back in September 1947.
Oh, wow.
And then it was a 2-mile circuit during, quote unquote, during the course of which one of the drivers himself ran over a sheep that had walked ran over a sheep. Good And he wandered onto the airfield. The sheep was killed and the car was ridden off. And after all that, that little informal thing was called the Mutton Grand Prix.
Oh my God. That's evil.
I know. So the contracts for Silverstone were actually pretty interesting. So it almost wasn't going to be a track used anymore. Had a contract until 2009. And then it was going to go somewhere called Donington Park, I guess, but they ran into financial problems. Hence why it remains here. Current contract is on, I saw it was 5 years starting in 2019.
Okay. So we have it for a while then.
Yeah. And very recently, the pit straight was renamed in December 2020 after Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton Straight in recognition of his achievements. So that's very cute. And actually, talking about names, I bet you guys, and I know we here, everyone refers to all the corners and they know them by heart. But why are they called those? So I actually found these from racingcircuits.info. So here they are, Abbey and Luffield. Luffield Abbey, the remains of which were discovered 200 meters from Stowe Corner, I guess here. Mm-hmm. Beckett's and Chapel Curve, the ruins of the Chapel of Thomas Becket lie close to the circuit. Stowe School is less than 2 miles south of the circuit. Maggots is a local landmark. Maggots Moorfield, which is next to the circuit. Copse is a small wood which used to sit adjacent to the corner. Wow. Right. Club Corner is in honor of the RAC Club. Pall Mall. That doesn't mean anything to me, but it's funny. Woodcote is in honor of the country club at Woodcote Park in Surrey. Hangar Straight is 2 aircraft hangars originally lined the circuit here. Village commemorates Silverstone Village. Ireland, Innes Ireland, Grand Prix driver and president of the British Racing Drivers Committee, 1992 to 93. Wellington Straight, Vickers Wellington Bombers were based at RAF Silverstone. Actually, it must have been one of these streets that was renamed to Hamilton. Did I do that research? Apparently not. It's fun. Brooklands is the world's first purpose-built circuit at Weybridge, Surrey, and the loop simply refers to the corner shape. Creative. From racefans.net, this current circuit is a 5.9 kilometer loop, 52 laps, 2 DRS zones, and you'll be full throttle about 70% of the time. The tires chosen from Pirelli are the hardest compounds for the slicks, C1, C2, C3. And Pirelli's chosen those because they rank it as high lateral and downforce for the cars. They rank medium tire stress and low expectations for asphalt grip and asphalt abrasion.
Okay.
GP fun facts. Now that we're on the circuit, what about the British GP itself? So they actually have, fun fact, largest gathering at Silverstone was this year, 400,000 people.
That's insane to me.
You know, and so Silverstone started having races in 1948, but the first British GP was actually held in 1926. So that was held in Brooklands in Surrey, so that just outside of London. But that circuit was severely damaged in World War II and was banned. Hence why I moved over to Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton has most wins here with 8. And did you hear them say that he now has this record too?
Yeah.
He's been on the podium at one circuit, aka Silverstone, 13 times now.
Yeah.
It used to be tied with Michael Schumacher at
12. Yeah. Wild.
That's a lot. He does well at the circuit. Ferrari has most wins for constructors. They have 17. Seb's won twice here. Fernando's won. And then actually, way back when, 1950, that GP was the first ever World Championship Grand Prix. It was attended by King George VI and the Queen Mother. First and only time a reigning monarch has attended a motor race in Britain. And then this is a direct pull from Wikipedia. The British race is the oldest in the Formula One World Championship calendar, as the 1950 race at Silverstone was round 1 of the first championship season. And so Silverstone and the British GP and the Italian GP are the only 2 Formula One World Championship Grand Prix that have been staged during every season that the championship has been held.
Oh.
Yeah, fun facts.
Holy crap. Learned a lot.
Anyways, that was a lot of talking for someone who doesn't have a voice.
I know, so we're gonna swap a little bit here. I am just gonna do a quick little ad read before we talk about qualifying and what happened in the race. So this episode of Get Checkered is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Life as a business owner can be hectic, to say the least. Alberta Blue Cross understands that. They offer flexible health, dental, life, and disability coverage for your employees. Even better, you can let your staff enroll and manage their coverage at any time and on any device. That makes life easier for them and for you. You've got this when it comes to group coverage for your small business, and Alberta Blue Cross has your back. To learn more and explore your options, head to ab.bluecross.ca. So we just have some high-level notes for qualifying. Nothing too crazy. One big thing though is that it was raining and raining really, really hard. So I'm not sure how busy it was in the stands, but it was raining a lot. Some disappointing stuff though for Aston Martin and Haas. Like they were both out in Q1, which Aston Martin just kind of struggling with qualifying. I don't know what's going on with them. This is like, I feel like they're constant with them. And then in Q3, Max and Charles both spun a little, and they couldn't go like as full out as they wanted to, just because of the rain. So what ended up happening, of course, is that worked in Carlos's favor. So he gets pole position, followed by Max, Charles, Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Zhou Guanyu, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas.
You missed the GOAT.
Who's the GOAT? Nick.
GOAT.
Oh shoot! I forgot about. Oh, sorry. Something we forgot. Nicholas Latifi. People qualified P10.
Wild.
Absolutely wild. Yeah, I don't think he's ever out-qualified Alex before, so it was absolutely insane.
He's never been to Q3 before.
Oh, the poor man. Followed by Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Danny Rick still not doing well. Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, K-Mag, Sebastian Vettel, Schumacher, and last was Stroll. So we're gonna talk about the race day. I'm gonna read another ad break though, so Caitlin can rest her voice. In Alberta, you get to choose who you buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. If you switch providers, nothing changes about the delivery of these utilities to your home or business. If you have an existing contract, you're going to want to find out the terms before leaving. And if you don't, then it's even easier to sign up for Park Power. You, as a consumer, have the choice of who you pay your bills to. Why not choose your friendly local utilities provider? Learn more at parkpower.ca. Okay, So as Caitlin was saying, we didn't watch it live, but I did get a text from my partner saying, oh yeah, this race is crazy. And I don't think we were expecting what we saw on lap 1.
No, it was yeah. Right off the bat, lap 1, we have the horrific incident with Guanyu. And to be honest, it happened so fast.
Yeah.
And they didn't replay it for so long. We had no idea to the extent of what it really was. But we knew like it was a red flag right off the bat. And like we see George get out of his car and he's running.
Yeah.
Right. And we're like, where is he even running to?
Yeah. We had no idea. And I think like we must not be the only one, because from the camera angle that we saw, or that was shown to us, you see Guanyu's car flip, but you don't see anything past that. And of course, it makes sense that they took so long, because you want to make sure the drivers are okay and all that kind of stuff. So it totally makes sense. But obviously, this was a bit of a catalyst. So Guanyu's accident, okay, we should say he is totally fine. He walked away from the accident, again, proving that the halo is so important. But what blew my mind was that he went over the barrier that they had.
Yeah, he went over the tires. So if you guys look at any of the pictures and the videos, you see he flips. Shaq even saw he flipped. I didn't even see it at first, but flips. And I was shocked by how far he skidded when he was literally like flipped upside down. And then he flips over the tires and ends up like squished between the tire barriers and the fence.
Yeah, it was not great. And of course, a lot of cars had damage, but Georgie, one of his tires was like completely off at that point. But he did a very noble thing. He jumped out of his car and ran towards Guanyu. I thought it was Alex. We'll talk about what happened to Alex in this whole shuffle too. But yeah, he ran and just flagged people to come over, because it's obviously very, very scary. And then unfortunately though, for him, is that when he went back to his car, it wasn't starting or something, or the stewards said he couldn't start it again. So as you all know, if you get into accidents, as long as you can make it back to the pit lane, typically you can like get the fix and then at least be able to compete. So he, at his home Grand Prix, was unable to compete because he got out of the car and the stewards threw the car on a truck and drove it off. So we kind of alluded to it, but Alex Albon, because of course this happened and all the cars are bunched up because it's literally lap 1, he got into an accident with Sebastian Vettel, but Albon ended up going straight into like the wall.
Yeah, at a pretty high force. We couldn't find the G's anywhere, but
no,
it was right off the start. And Seb, like the Guanyu incident.
Yeah,
it was Guanyu, Pierre Gasly, and George Russell that were like in a line, but not that whole accident happened. And then I think that was before Alex Albon, and Sebastian Vettel was behind him. And I think Alex slowed down evidently because of what was going on. And then Seb kind of hit him from the back, and Alex turned into the wall.
Yeah. So Alex was actually taken to the hospital. He is fine. He posted on social that he's fine, but this was apparently in some after the race interviews, George said that this was like the worst accident he's ever seen, which makes sense. It was very, very scary, and I thought we were going to have a really different result. So again, God bless the freaking halo, because it saved Guanyu's life, completely saved his life.
Like, I think I'm just amazed that he got out injury free, right? Yeah. Like, he might actually have. They probably checked him for concussions, etc. But I do think they're saying he's probably going to be fine to race next week. But I'm like,
yeah, we'll have to see what ends up happening there, because I think one of the things is you just have to have the obviously these drivers have been in accidents. It happens, but to get back into a car after something like that is really nerve-wracking. But you have to do it. And I think you have to do it soon.
You have to get over
it sooner rather than later. So I don't know. It was just like, what a way to start the race. And then we basically got a reset, which
Yeah. So what else happened during the first start though was you had Lewis Hamilton starting 5
yeah,
and he Paul it was an amazing start. He went right
yeah,
up the middle into third.
it was really, really great. And of course, then it was reset. So it didn't count
Yeah,
anyway.
so it didn't actually count because the restart he started again in fifth. But it's fine.
Yeah, and with the restart though, it allowed, and also the cars into the pit for the other people that got into the accident. So some of the AlphaTauris and just all of them were able to get some fixes done on the cars. So that was good. You could swap tires, whatever you needed to do. And yeah, we got back to racing. So
it took a while though. Like it was
yeah,
a solid week.
yeah, because we didn't hear the 10-minute start thing for a long time. And my guess is just because there was so many accidents. Like obviously it was one accident, but there's so much debris from all the cars that were impacted. It would take a while to clear out. But the big thing is, obviously with someone being injured, both Alex and Guanyu, Zhou, it's you just have to make sure you can get them safely out of the car. Yep. So stabilize the neck and the head and do all that. But yeah, I don't know. Motorsport is dangerous, folks. That's all.
Yeah, and I think like all the social media accounts are like, oh, this is a reminder that it is still this is. And the same thing happened with Silverstone last year with after the Max incident. They're like, reminder again that it's like this is a very high risk sport. Yeah. So you see it happen again this year. Yeah, thank God everyone made it just fine.
Everyone made it out just fine.
Like, yeah, it was a start.
That was the start.
And so because I'm like, Shanica's partner Adam pretty much alluded to like that not being the only thing really going on in this race. Like it was just an extended race overall. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle
the intensity. Seriously. So we kind of broke today down into the winners and losers of the race. So Caitlin, who's one of the winners for you?
The big one, the big winner of today, Carlos Sainz.
Huge. He had such a phenomenal race. Start to finish, obviously benefited from really bad strategy calls, which we'll talk about. But yeah, he finally got a win.
He did.
After 150 races.
Yeah.
In Formula One.
As Lando put it, about time.
It truly is about time that this guy got it. And he in the interviews was saying to get your first real win and do it in Silverstone with the Ferrari team. Just it was completely out of this world for him. So I was just so happy for him. And also he got his elbows out. He went racing. He was like, you could tell he was determined to try and win this one. Yeah. He thought he could, and he was not going to let go. And I was, exactly. Which kind of brings us to one of the losers, or two of them. We're going to combine them. But just the Ferrari strategy. No, like the Ferrari decision making, the whole like team orders. It was a mess. It was such a mess. So we saw this come up fairly quickly because Charles did have more pace at the beginning of the race. Yeah. So there's a request that comes in, and Carlos is like, okay, so he swaps, which we don't like. But it did take a while, right? Like, you would hear Charles on the radio a lot, and he was getting pretty frustrated. Being behind Carlos and not being able to overtake. And he's like, pretty much just like make him pull over, like let me pass. But the Ferrari team kept being like, okay, Carlos, like your opportunity to improve your times and everything, and attempt to like just tell him go faster, and he would. Yeah. And to be honest, I think that is a fair approach, because I don't want to see the team orders of someone have to pass someone. But in the end, I think it was good because they gave Carlos a chance. Maybe they let him go for too long with that chance. Maybe they need to be speedier, but they gave him the chance. He couldn't do it. And so when they're like, okay, let it Charles pass, he's like, okay, he pulled over. But yeah,
yeah, I know, like, a lot of people are probably going to say, like, don't give Carlos that chance because he just ended up holding Charles up and the people behind them were catching up at that point. But, and so maybe it's just like, Ferrari needs to think about like what the happier medium could be.
Yeah.
Like, still give him the chance, maybe not for as long. But that wasn't the only time the team orders came in, right?
No, there were so many things that just went left. Yeah, towards the end of the race, Charles. Okay, this is like it's back to the strategy though. For some reason, when everyone went into pit onto softs, they left Charles out.
After there was a yellow, right? So a safety car came out, and literally 12 laps to go. Everyone's switching onto new soft tires because the soft tires were proven to be able to go for 12 laps. Why not go onto softs with like the free pit stop that safety car can give you? So the Ferrari split their strategy. Charles stayed out actually on his hard tires. And Carlos came in to change. And I think like they do have two separate teams, like different strategists, different engineers. And Carlos and his team made that risk, and that was a good decision. I don't know why Charles's side of the garage would not make that same decision, and I don't know why someone like Pinotto wouldn't be like, "Hey, this is a really good idea. I don't know why you guys aren't doing it."
Yeah, no, I completely agree because what ended up happening is that he basically got royally fucked when the safety car went back in and everyone was revving up to start again. Everyone had to 2 laps, right, to warm up those tires. But softs, you don't really need to do that. They could just go. And he was being passed by everybody.
Well, yes. Oh, what was the call? It was like Charles was in front. After the safety car, and it was Carlos in second, and then Lewis was in third. And pretty much the team over the radio told Carlos to like hold up Lewis pretty much, right? Like stay where you are and like defend against Lewis and slow that down. But at this point, Carlos is on the new softs and he had better pace than Charles. So he's like, why would I do that? Please, guys, tell me, like, no, just. And I think that's really smart of Carlos. Like, he knows exactly when he should. I think he's smart. He's smart in that way. So we did push back on the team orders. He didn't actually follow through with them, right? So we saw Carlos actually did pass Charles. And then it was actually such an exciting part of the race. I don't know if you want to talk about that now, but.
Yeah, that's true.
So the Ferrari management and team strategy, it was messy. And they have a lot of work to do to get over that because we talked about it before about this would probably come up, right? Like, I don't want to be the one making those team orders between them because it would be very difficult. They're both great drivers. And it came into play today, and it was very poorly executed. So they need to work on that. You guys may have seen there's the meme going around. You probably even saw the video of Binotto literally like
waving his finger.
He was waving his finger at Charles, like giving him a talking to. So I don't know, maybe there was more radio of like Charles saying more and stuff, and Binotto's like, you can't be doing that to this team or something. I don't know, but
it was just a mess.
It was bad family dynamic.
It was really, really bad, and especially for them to be in a position where they had both drivers in 1 and 2. And yes, different orders at varying points to be in a place where Charles actually finished 4th. Not ideal.
There was so the WTF1 team, I didn't watch their YouTube, it's probably out now, but I saw on their Instagram. Because I guess the main guy is a big Charles Leclerc fan, and he was losing it during the watch along. Be like, why are they not? My voice cannot do that. Why are they not hitting Leclerc? He's just starting to like pace and like go crazy. I'm like, it's a good question, valid question.
Yeah, we don't know. We
were asking the same thing.
Yeah, and they need to figure this out because it's going to cause them to lose everything. And that means the drivers, that means the constructors, because they can't figure this out. Another winner, which we predicted, last week.
You guys remember we did put it out into the universe last week that Mick would get his first points in this race. And he did.
He finished P8, I believe.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Really capitalizing on everyone kind of.
And it was Seth's birthday. And so it's happy birthday, Seth. It's such a good day. Oh, it was so cute.
Yeah, it was so great to see him finally get it, and just how excited the team was for him. And also in the post-race interview, Seb just looked like a very proud dad and said that, you know, when he saw Mick and Max kind of like going at it, he kept being like, he was in the car saying like, "Go Mick," which is
so cute.
Cheering Mick on from inside the car, which I thought was so sweet.
It's the fact that Mick got points here and he was racing the world champ.
Yeah,
he was racing
and he was holding his own.
Yeah.
And the only issue was the freaking straight line speed of the Red Bull.
Yeah.
But hey, that comes with the development of the cars. Kind of talked about him, but a loser for me was Max Verstappen.
Yeah, it was a bad race for him.
It was a bad race. There was like issues with his car in qualifying too, so he did as well as he could have done, I found, but there was just really significant issues with the car. He was not happy. You can tell he was very vocal about it too. He was just not very happy, and I could tell he really wanted to retire the vehicle. I could tell he really just wanted to. And
then the Red Bull team was always like, "Oh, it's not structural. You can still go."
Exactly. They're like, "It's not critical. You're fine." And it's
I don't know why he would want to retire though.
I kind of get it though, because you know how these drivers are. Like, if they can't be the best, it's just like frustrating. Also, the car doesn't feel right, and you might be scared. And yeah, he's being told that everything's fine, but I don't know.
If he didn't feel like it was fine. But regardless, it's like, Max, you should know that getting some points is better than like,
especially right now, because it seems to be a little bit all over the place.
Exactly.
So he finished the best he could in P7, I believe. So good for him. But judging that he is out here trying to extend the lead to honestly his own teammate even, it was a bit of a loss for him, I would say.
Talking about his teammate though, he put him in the winner category.
Hell yeah, because Sergio Perez, I don't even know how he.
No, he still
he had a great drive.
He did, because on that first lap debacle, he had a problem with his front wing, so we actually had to pit really soon after that and like get a change, and so he ended up dropping to the very back of the field. He was P17, but he made his way all the way up to P2. Finished freaking second place.
Finished on the podium.
Incredible drive.
Honestly, after that first lap, I just didn't think it was going to happen. So he just put his head down and worked. And obviously, there were a few other retirements, which kind of helped. But at the end of the day, like, he just worked his ass off and got to that.
And he was driver of the day.
And he so deserved it. And it was also great to see some racing, and then also some questions that Caitlin and I have now. So from a racing perspective, it was so good and so cool to see like Lewis and Perez go at it. The issue though is that Perez kind of pushed Lewis off track. So I have a giant question just about regulations. Like, I don't know where that sits anymore. Because we saw a lot of that in last year, and it was like very intense. It was like it just was not great. Because they're basically outside the track, like overtaking each other and doing all that kind of stuff. So I was really surprised that it was noted, but nothing came of it.
And there was a little concentrated time. Yeah. Where a whole bunch of people were going off track limits.
Yeah.
Weird. And in the midst of all that, I'm going to throw it to AlphaTauri now. There was both drivers had the black and orange flag wave, which we a few episodes ago were like, it's very uncommon to have that at all. Both drivers got it this time, and they had a problem between the two of them.
Oh my god, it was so embarrassing. So they had a gentle little touch when they were driving, which is like what you never want to see happen, is like both of your drivers in any way touching one another, which is always very scary. But
yeah, I think like what happened was Yuki, I think, lost kind of control in a way and ended up bumping into Pierre and both of them spun.
Yeah, it was not great, but they kind of recovered that only to have it get worse. So Pierre had to retire from the car, from the race. He DNF'd. It was like some sort of issue with the vehicle, not tied to the little bump they had. And Yuki wasn't able to really make up that many spots either. Like this version of the AlphaTauri car is not good. It's really, really not good.
What I found interesting though was like Yuki didn't really do that well.
No.
But he remained kind of neutral in my grid rival team. So I mean, he didn't lose money for him, which is nice.
Oh my gosh, I lost some money.
I'm back up to 10th. A-B.
Good for you. I am eighth. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the AlphaTauri team. They're probably gonna have a big debrief tonight just about what went wrong where. I also didn't put him down, but Lewis Hamilton as a winner.
Yep, he did very well. And he could have won.
I know, that's why I was like, where do we put him? Because it's like he drove really, really well. He was really aggressive on pace. He was, got fastest lap at the end, which means that their car was fast enough.
Yep.
Which has been a big issue all season, right? And so that's great. But what kind of sucked and is just he just like couldn't. Basically, he could have won, and that's a shitty part.
It was the first laps he's led this season.
Oh my god! And it was in his home race.
I know,
so close. And then even on that like final little stretch with everyone on new tires, to see like Sergio really get his elbows out and go into P2, that could have easily been Lewis too. So he's like a winner because obviously being on the podium is important, but also like kind of a loser because I'm just like, how did this go wrong? And he even said they lost time when he went into the pits, a couple seconds there.
Well, let's just sorry, guys. This is my normal occurrence now. So talking about Lewis, kind of at the end, he was part of a phenomenal race. Like it was him, Sergio, and Alonso.
Yeah, Alonso.
Yeah,
watching, waiting.
The three of them, and it was and Lando.
Yeah, Lando was behind him too.
Oh my God, there was amazing racing going on. It was back and forth, a new leader around every turn. People were going back and forth, and it was
It was so good. And Charles and Lewis went back and forth because obviously that's the last podium spot.
Yeah.
And Charles put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, it's the tires that really screwed him. And with Lewis, I'm trying to figure out what he could have done to win, but I don't even know. Like, what would you do? Like, they were fast enough today, which was good. I mean, obviously losing time in a pit stop, you never want that to happen. But other than that, it's like, what more could he have done? Because it was everybody else.
I think so. They started to like when it was Lewis in front, and then it was Carlos and Charles behind him. They're like, so Lewis still has to pit, and he's going to lose about 19 seconds in the pit. There was a point at which only 2 seconds. There was a point at which Lewis was making up so much time that he just needed to go a little bit further to make up more than 19 seconds to come out before both of them. But his tires started to go out before he got to that point, and he started losing time, and they had to pit him. And he came out behind both of them, actually. So, I don't know, just maybe some part of strategy there could have gone differently for him. But
all in all, good to have Mercedes doing well. I know there's some more upgrades coming, so we'll just have to see what happens with the vehicle or the car then, because I don't know. Hopefully some good stuff.
Truly.
Another loser. That sounds mean, but Esteban Ocon. Not sure what happened here, but he was racy, like past Max Verstappen, and we're all like, oh my God, look at him competing against the world champ. Yes, whose car was a little bit screwed up, but still, it's a good experience.
Yeah.
And then he just slowed down to nothing.
Yeah, you started to see him fall back, and I was like, oh, what's happening? And then he kind of just stop. Like he's just rolling, and then it stops on the straight, and that's why we had the safety car, the yellow flag safety car. Yeah, so that was unfortunate. He DNF'd. Yeah.
It's not great for him.
No.
Any DNF is a bad one, and this one just didn't really make sense to me. I don't know there. And this was like one of the winners I put there, but the freaking halo, I don't know who invented it, but total winner today because it protected 2 people from being severely injured. Do you have any other winners from today? Teams, drivers, anything else?
Ouch, my I think so. Winners. So Sergio's dad and Lewis's dad, watching them on the podium, and there's the cutest photos of them. Tom Cruise is there. Oh, okay, maybe I put maybe a big ick is like Tom Cruise is allowed to think whatever he likes, but he got so much
coverage
attention from the F1. And they're like, oh, he's here. He's a big F1 guy. He loves it, and he's in the Mercedes garage, and he's hanging out with Sergio's dad and Lewis's dad, watching him on the podium. And then it's like we just have to remember, like he's arguably kind of crazy Scientologist.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have forgotten that because he's, Top Gun, which, by the way, you guys loved. If you haven't seen it yet, Top Gun Maverick was phenomenal, and Tom Cruise was incredible in it. But yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there.
Yeah, it was like that's maybe a loser too. I don't know. It was weird. And the last thing I would say is like the winners, the fans. Having 400,000 people out there, having to see racing like this.
That was, they got their money's worth.
Really great show. So I'm very, very happy for them. We ended the race with 6 DNFs, I believe. Yes.
Wild.
So, like we mentioned, Esteban went out, DNF'd, Pierre DNF'd. And someone we didn't talk about, which was Valtteri, also DNF'd. It was like a car technical issue. He didn't even make it fully back to the he made it to the pit lane, but he didn't even make it into like the garage or close to where they need to be lined up, which kind of sucks. Georgie, obviously being a good guy, ran out of his car, and unfortunately that forced him to not compete. Guanyu, Zhou, also obviously from the accident, and then Alex Albon also from the accident. The final roundup of people though was Carlos Sainz, winner extraordinaire, followed by Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton in P3, so the last slot on the podium. Then Charles Leclerc in P4, which again
he should have been
at least on the podium. Yeah. He should have been in P2. Then in P5, Fernando Alonso. If you do have a fantasy team, anyone out there, just maybe put him on your team because he's been doing quite well lately. And then Lando Norris came in P6, Max Verstappen in P7, followed by Mick Schumacher in P8 and Sebastian Vettel in P9. And then the last point slot went to K-Mag. And after that, we are stuck with everyone else. So in 11th was Lance Stroll, in 12th was Nicholas Latifi, and in 13th was Daniel Ricciardo. And last but not least, was 14th, so last place because of all the DNFs, was Yuki Tsunoda.
So Danny Rick, what happened to him? What did he do?
I don't know. It just seems like he just did not have any pace. Like we didn't even hear about him at all.
Oh. Him and Yuki during the safety car, like they were allowed to pass because they were lapped, but it took them so long to even just catch up to go past the safety car. Like, what are you doing, Danny Rick?
It was not great. I don't know what's going on with him, but again, that's a finish where the gap between them is very, very high, meaning between Lando and Danny. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. Next week, though, we're heading to Austria for the Austrian GP. I'm really not sure how we're going to record the podcast episode because we're stampeding at the same time. So we'll figure that out. Courtney might have to.
That's going to be rough.
Bop on with us, but yeah. Do you have any predictions for Austria?
Honestly, so we predicted correctly for Mick. Let's remember this.
Yeah.
Carlos got his win in. That is a big wish fulfilled.
Yeah.
What do we say? Maybe we have a Mercedes winner.
Ooh, at the Red Bull Ring.
At the Red Bull Ring.
Let's
do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't have any interesting things. I want to like throw a random one out there, but I don't really have one. I got none. Sorry, folks. No rando predictions.
Okay, and if it's not Mercedes, I'd be okay if Charles came back and won because he hasn't won in a while.
Yeah, and actually that brings me to my next point, which is in the driver's standings right now, with this sort of kerfuffle with Ferrari and the kind of poor strategy, Charles is no longer second. He is actually third, so behind Sergio Perez. Shit. And then Carlos Sainz is in fourth, and then George and Lewis, who got a nice haul of points today, bringing him closer to his teammate. But
nice, yeah.
That's not great for them.
That's very much like Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that just to keep things spicy and interesting, that we do get a Ferrari, a Charles win. To bring him closer to Verstappen. And it's wild because this race today would have been the one that should have brought him closer because Verstappen's
and I think that's why the Ferrari team kind of wanted Carlos to hold off Lewis.
Yeah.
Because they are still, I guess, trying. They haven't come out with it to officially say, but yeah, I think they want Charles to be the one to go for the driver's championship. Even though honestly, it's like let them drive because you have two great drivers.
Yeah.
I don't know what the best strategy for that team is. That's why they get paid to do, and
not us. But that's it for today, folks. From a very sick Caitlin and a very exhausted me. So if you aren't already, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Get Checkered. You can email us, which is getcheckered@gmail.com, or head to our website, getcheckered.com. Rate and review the podcast, please. It is the best way for people to find us and help us do this forever. But other than that, I don't know. I got nothing.
No, I think that's everything.
Stay checkered, friends.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.